doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm tired of Craig's shit. He can't keep getting away with it.
Oh my god. Well, hi everyone.
Hi, guys.
How's everyone been since the last time we were all here together in this collective space talking about random things?
Good. Dancing for them.
Very good. I always forget. I always do that thinking that like someone in the distance will like answer the question. We'll just like hear it.
I feel like I can hear it. It's weird. Like I can just hear the tiny voices like, I'm good. Or the snoring if they're listening while they're sleeping, which is fine.
Very true, very true. Before we get into it, we wanted to do a quick little call out that we recently featured on another podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a fun time. So if you guys remember, Vishal was one of our recent guests for the year. And his first episode of his podcast back was featuring us because we kind of agreed. Because we all kind of agreed that it's just like, since we had you should have us. So his podcast is of course called Aaahh Dice. All the links will be in the description if you're watching on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening on Spotify or all the audio streaming devices. But that was really fun.
Yes,
it was hard
please.
It was hard for me not to kick into podcaster mode though.
Podcaster mode?
So like when we started, right, I was the one to be like, how are you? And I'm like, wait, this isn't my podcast.
Wait, that's not my job here.
And so it's like there were like questions that I wanted to ask and things that I wanted to talk about, but it's like, it's not my podcast. This isn't my place to like say things and be hearsed. I'll let him hearst as best he can. But that was fun. I wish he uploaded like the video version somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was... Yeah?
No. I was going to say, because we did a lot of visual things too, because I'd listened to it a couple of times, and it was just like, we have all these like inside jokes visually.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And we're only talking to one specific person.
It was fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was such a joy. And please, you have to go listen to Potato Christine.
Potato Christine. I would do it here on our podcast, but I think it'd only come up on Discord and not in my actual recording.
A boo.
Because whenever I think Photo Booth only ever lets you use the FaceTime cam, so I can't like connect the Snap camera app to the Photo Booth unless I just use like the defaults on Photo Booth.
Save it as an Aaahh Dice exclusive.
I mean, can't see it on Aaahh Dice, but if you do, if you go over to his Instagram, you'll see a very small snippet of when I was trying out potato filters. If anyone uses Snap camera, you'll very much know what I'm talking about. But yeah, how did you like being on another person's podcast?
Yeah, it was fun. It was and yeah, especially Vishal like made, well, you guys were already friends, but I didn't know him that well, but I still felt really comfortable being there. Usually around new people, I'm like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? But it was really fun still, just hanging out and chatting.
I mean, I think the thing is like, because he's like a comedian, the way he connects is through like comedy, and that's like, we are not comedians in that sense, but like we have a bit of a, like, we have like very similar like sense of humor, I guess, in a way.
Very dumb, very dry, yeah.
Very true. So yeah. Also, for the visual people, the people watching this on YouTube, if I look flipped, I finally learned how to flip my camera.
You flipped yourself?
I flipped myself.
What? Am I flipped? I don't even know if I'm flipped or not.
No, so it's only because like I always forget to change the settings. So I mean, you guys really don't want to hear like the behind the scenes stuff, but I always forget to change my settings, and so To you it's not flipped, but to me, because I'm looking at photo booth, it's mirrored. But when it saves, it'll saved as like flipped. Again, behind the scenes stuff probably no one wants to listen to, but stuff that we like to discuss because all of this visual stuff is so new to us. It's like
Yeah. Feels. Hopefully my video doesn't freeze this time for all you visual people who love staring at a drawn image of me.
But we appreciate the bangs that came in.
I know, I was laughing for like a solid 5 minutes. It was just so good.
I didn't say it immediately because I kept forgetting to tell you, but every time I like watched it back just to like monitor stuff, and because I was having to do the chapters for YouTube, I was like laughing so hard to myself. Because I had looked away momentarily as I was like doing something, like as I was reviewing it. I looked up, I was like, where did that fringe come from? Part 2.
I was like, oh shit, they mentioned a fringe and my drawing doesn't have a fringe, or maybe I should just draw it in. And then I was like, nah, I got a better idea, a more temporary idea that might just work.
I mean, speaking of, it looks like this week it's been pushed to the wayside a little bit.
Yeah, I've kind of been tossing up between like bringing it back or just finally letting go of it, because it's a hassle every time I have it, but it looks great, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel like anytime I get a fringe again, people are just like, wait, you didn't have a fringe? And it's like, because you and I are the same, we always keep going back and forth between like having like front bangs and then not having them.
Yeah.
My friend last year was like this friend does like impulsive shit whenever she breaks up with a guy, which is fairly often. Not to shame her, but still, it's kind of funny. But she had like gone through some shit with a guy. She calls me and she's like, "Hey, can we FaceTime?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And she's like, "I'm gonna cut my fringe," and I'm like, "Okay." And so she like goes and like cuts her fringe in front of me, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, this is, girl, you stress me out so much." But she's maintained it, and I'm like, "How do you maintain it?" But then this is also the same girl who will like maintain full slashes consistently.
Like, I don't know, because like with bangs, it looks great when you step out of the house, but then like once your bangs go through the day and like you're sweating or it starts raining, it's just like it turns into this like greasy, like weird mess. And I don't know about you, but I curl my bangs so that they aren't flat on my face, but then by the end of the day, they're flat on my face and deflated and gross, and I hate it. And I just, oh my god, I don't know how your friend just like, just lives her life with bangs.
I mean, she also has like dead straight hair. Like her hair is like, it's thick and it's like dead straight. So her bangs kind of fall just like dead straight, whereas mine, because I have wavier hair, anytime I would like try to straighten it or curl it, it would just like go to one side, and she's like, "What is happening? I'm so annoyed." So yeah, no, I get it, because like closer to like as my hair started to grow out, I was like, "Nah, I'm done. I think I'm like over it." As much as I like pull the hair over my face to see if I want to get it done, I'm like,
same.
No.
Oh, it's just like grab some hair from the side and I'm like lifting it up. I'm like, should I do it again? Oh no. Should I just buy clip-in bangs?
Although speaking of haircuts, happy Freedom Week to everyone in New South Wales.
Yes, we did it, yay!
We did it. It's the first week. It's the first phase of freedoms in New South Wales, and it's very exciting, I think, for everyone. Tyler and I are seeing each other this week. Yay! So we will put photos up on our Instagram stories for you guys, because you know, I feel like we should do maybe not more vlog style stuff, but we need to use our Instagram more.
We really do, huh? But I'm always like what do we post? Like,
no, for real. Content. I think content creation in this sense, like what we do normally, is like easy, but in terms of like social media, I have no idea. Like if we ever grow and like we ever become like a company, man, imagine. But if we ever became like a company, like I'd get a social media manager, because I cannot do any of that stuff.
Yeah, same. I'd be like, okay, tell me what I need to post. I got no ideas, by the way.
Do you want to schedule it? Do you want to know, like, what should we do? What do you want from us? Because we're the content creators, but we don't know what we should do on social media. Like,
Hell.
oh man, but yeah, so like salons are opening up. My friend messaged me and he's like, oh, I got a haircut today and I didn't know what to do, so I just told him to cut it all off, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good step if you don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited to do anything to my hair.
Me too. I just want to cut it, like trim it a little bit. I am enjoying long-haired Christine again.
Hell yeah.
For you guys who haven't seen, like, because obviously we only started doing visual podcasts, and because I wear black all the time, so you can't see how long my hair actually is. But for about like ever since like 2012, oh my god, I haven't had long hair since I graduated in 2012, like graduated high school. Because then I cut it short, and then I just kept it consistently short. And then when I was in a position where I had to grow it out because there were no like salons open, my hair has kind of just grown out to what it is now. Not that it's that long, but it's long for me. But I love it. I missed it.
And like coincidentally, when you cut your hair was when I first met you, which means you with long hair just blows my mind.
I sent her a photo, and I'll send her the photo to put up in the video as well. But it's a photo of me on the way to get my hair cut, and it's like super long, baby-faced Christine at 18 years old, no makeup. And yeah, that was literally like a year or 2 years before I met you.
And I was just like, who the fuck is that? That is not my latte.
Oh man, what a time. But I'm excited to have everything open and just start to be able to do stuff again. It's really good.
I'm excited to finally catch up with everyone for the next few weeks and then hide away again for like a few months.
like drain the social battery as much as you can for the time that you've been locked in, and then like go away for like another 3 months. I mean, life cycle of social situations, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So excited for it. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad it opened up towards this end of the year though. Because there's like Christmas and Halloween, all the fun stuff happening.
Yeah. Oh man, there were like so many events that we're looking forward to, but I mean, hoping for next year if anything. So we'll see. I mean, we're the first state to quote unquote live with the virus, which I think is a more practical way to do things now, because realistically I said it previously, if you guys go listen to Vishal's podcast, it's like realistically it's something we have to like live with now. And not equating it to it being the flu, but because the flu is such a reoccurring virus, obviously we have to get like regular vaccinations for it and whatnot, but in that same vein, this is something new that we have to live with. Again, not equating it to a seasonal flu. This is something that's scary and dangerous, and people very much potentially die from it. But, much as like I assume people had to live with the flu, we now have to live with corona. And it sucks, but as long as everyone's doing their part, staying healthy, staying vaccinated.
Yes.
We'll get through it.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh man. I have no segue into what I wanted to talk about. I've been like talking for ages just to like see if I can find a segue, and it's not working. It's not working out. But I wanted to pose the question. And this is like a really stupid like shower thought, I guess. But do you like? I'll phrase it in a way that might be a little bit more inclusive in a way, I guess. But do you say McDonald's or do you say Maccas?
I don't think about it ever.
That was something that I didn't think about either. But I'll give you like a little story as to why I thought of it.
Uh,
But I was like, because lately I've just been watching like a lot of like, obviously like American creators, because a lot of the gaming YouTubers and a lot of the like streamers that I watch, they're all based in the US. So they would talk about Maccas, but they would say McDonald's. And I don't know why the
yeah.
thought came into my head, but it had occurred to me that I hadn't said like the full name McDonald's in like forever. Like
Really?
the question in my head was, when was the last time you said McDonald's?
Besides now.
Besides now, and besides every other time that I posed the question to someone.
I don't know. I think I usually say the full name. Like I usually say McDonald's as opposed to Maccas. Like Maccas doesn't sound natural to me now that I'm saying it out loud.
And
Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. Cuz like, but that's the reason why I had to rephrase the question, because it was like, I think from memory you say the full name, whereas I've always just over time been inclined to say the shorter version, or like the Aussie version of what it is.
You've got more stuff to do. You don't have time to spare.
God, I have so much time. What are you talking about?
I'm out here McDonald's.
Just gonna order some McDonald's. Like,
And you're like, nah, Maccas, no time.
but then like you forget too, like it's like an intrinsically Aussie thing to say. And then I always find it so funny, because then when Americans try to say like, and like Americans, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever people say Maccas in America, they think that because we like the way we pronounce our A's sometimes, they think we pronounce it as like Maccas. Like,
Maccas.
yeah, because of like how we pronounce some of like our A's sometimes, and how like the way we pronounce some of our words. And it's just like, no, because it's not like we say McDonald's the way anyone would say McDonald's, like.
Yeah.
So we're not changing the vowel, we're keeping the vowel the same.
Australians be like, McDonald's.
Oh man, imagine, that'd be so stupid.
Is it in America? Isn't it like Mickey D's or something?
Mickey D's, yeah, but I don't think they say it as casually as we would say
Maccas.
like Maccas. Yeah.
You know what the ultimate time saver is?
What?
McDo.
I mean, you're not wrong. And I was also like kind of thinking about that too.
McDo.
Maccas. Say also
Okay,
two
no.
syllables.
Yeah, but like you like you don't have like the extra s at the end, but that S really like, you know, it's a few extra milliseconds. No.
So go get some McDo.
It's so like aggressive.
And so it's so to the point. Oh my god.
Get some McDo.
But then half the time people are getting Jollibee anyway, which, I mean, I've never really craved Jollibee, to be fair.
Is there a Jollibee here, or is Red Rooster still the closest we have?
Red Rooster is still the closest we have. But there's always, every other week, every other year, it's a rumor that they're going to open a Jollibee here. It's like, where is it? Tell us where it is.
Where is the bee? Where is my Jollibee?
But I mean, I don't know, like, every time I go to the Phils, I never crave it, and that might be a blasphemous Filipino thing to say, but like, I don't look for it. Like, it's like food that I can get at home, almost, essentially. Like, maybe not in terms of like Jollibee fried chicken, but everything else I can probably get at home, like spaghetti or palabok or something like that. You know what I mean?
Unpopular opinion, but Filipino spaghetti kinda ain't it. Like, something about the sweet sauce and just fucking cut up sausages just doesn't do it for me, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I like it. A lot of fillers do. But yeah, no, I get what you mean as well. Like, I get the argument that it's like, it's not it. I mean, Italians are probably just like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Italians looking at filo spaghetti like, what the fuck is that?
Man, but yeah, no, I get what you mean. Like, it's not universally loved, and I get that because it's
Yeah.
I feel like it's only like if you grew up in the Philippines or like you grew up around like a lot of Filipino food, that's what like you're kind of used to.
I mean, like, trying to think of, like, okay, I'm exposing myself here, but like, I also don't like palabok because of the same like kind of sweet dish when when I assume it's gonna be savory because I'm like pancit like the first time I saw it, and then I was like, oh, not pancit. But like, I feel like in general, like, I don't like it when, especially meat, when it's sweet and I expect it to be savory. Like tocino, I hate it. I don't like tocino because I'm like, what is this? What's happening? Or even like honey soy chicken, I'm like, you're supposed to be chicken.
You're not supposed to have a sweetness to you.
Yeah, like I'll eat it, but I won't be particularly like thrilled to be eating it, you know?
That's fair. So you prefer your savory to be savory and your sweet to be sweet.
I prefer the world to make sense and be in order. If I look at fried chicken, my brain is like, that's salty.
That's fair. That's fair. I think I just grew up very filler. As much as I like I don't try to detach myself too much, but like in my food choices sometimes it definitely comes out that it's just like I like Filipino food sometimes and I'll crave it sometimes. I just thought of like a mad lechon and now I'm really, really hungry.
Oh, you know what? It's like literally same. Like, I'm so fucking hungry now. I have these seaweed packets sitting in front of me, but I don't want to give you guys an ASMR moment.
I just imagined like the full like pork belly and I was like, oh god, need to get that out of my head. But
I can see it. I can see it. Oh Lord.
Oh my gosh.
I'm craving pork now. Jesus Christ.
But like back to like accents and like words and how things internationally don't sound sense. Christine, make it make sense in your head. Some sounds don't make sense, or like some words don't like translate over into other things. I've noticed because I've been home a lot more with my family. One, my accent skewed more American again, and two, I have like I don't know. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but I've definitely noticed it, where it's like it's that sound that like they make when they have like harsh like H sounds or C sounds. It's like that like sound. That's the best way I could put it. Like it's very subtle and like it's very, very subtle. But I notice it and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm turning into like some filler person or some like filler tita. What is going on?
I don't mean to alarm you, but you are filler.
I know, but I like grew up in a western country, so it's often assumed that I wouldn't adopt the culture too much. And I think by way of accent I have adopted the culture, but everything else I'm just like
I love that for you. I mean, I have a an accent story. I can't remember if I've already told it on here or not. But I can tell it. It was when I was in the States, and I was just like hanging out with friends, having a good time, and then I think for some reason I said the word blue, and I was like blue, and then like this one girl, I don't know, she's like drunk or something. She's like, "Wait, what? Did you say that again?" I'm like, blue. And she's like, oh my god, blue. It's like, what? Like, oh, you say it like blue. Like, instead of blue, you're like blue. And I was like, what are you trying to say to me? Are we saying the same word?
Are you talking about the color blue? Like, color? What? Blur?
Blur? Who?
Who for why? Oh, man, but it's so funny because, like, in the reverse way, sometimes I can't understand American accents.
Yeah.
So one of the first, like, I think the second time I was in America and I was visiting family, my cousin's boyfriend was giving me the Wi-Fi password. I don't know if I've told this story to the podcast, but I definitely have told people about it.
Every time we tell a story, I'm like, have the people heard this already or not? I can't remember.
Probably the OGs will know, but yeah. And again, no offense to like any of our American listeners. I know that it's kind of like lost upon you that these two slightly American sounding girls are talking about the American accent, but no, we are in fact Australian and we're surrounded by the Australian accent more often than not. So, but like he gave me the Wi-Fi password and like he was just like saying it to me and he's like, oh, it's narrow airplane. And I'm like, narrow. So phonetically, I spell it out to be Nero.
Yeah.
And I couldn't connect. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. So like, I was like, oh, I can't connect to it. So then I give him my phone and then he like types it out into notes. And it was narrow airplane. And I was like,
narrow, damn.
Narrow airplane. And I'm like, I don't know why it's not working. And then, yeah. I was like, oh, it's narrow airplane. What is this? Or like, for most of my life, people have like mistaken me to be from like California or like some part of like the West Coast.
Yeah.
And like it's you know it's bad when an American says it too. Like I was at like a youth conference in Melbourne, and because like our youth group is sort of like international, so we have like chapters in the States as well. And one of the Americans comes up to me and he's like, "Are you from California?" And I'm like, "No."
And you're like, "No."
No.
No. I'm not from California.
In my like more American sounding accent. But the first time I was in America, I'd met some family friends of my auntie, and we were like, because it was like my uncle's funeral, and I was talking to the guy who was supposed to like be playing piano for me because I was going to sing, and we were talking, and then I go, "Oh, cool, awesome," and he's like, "Awesome," and I'm like, "What?" Because like to him, the way I said "awesome" was like different, and it was, because they're like obviously the way they say it is so different, but like it never dawns on me that it's so different, you know?
Yeah.
It's not until you're there that it's like, oh, it's really different.
Oh my goodness. I feel like there was like one time when I ordered like I was ordering it In-N-Out, I think. And then I was like, "Oh, can I get this burger but with no tomato?" Poor woman was like, "With no what?" It's like, "Tomato." "What?" "Tomato." "Huh?" And then I was like, and then she's like, "Oh, tomato." I was like, "Yeah, tomato." Oh my god, I was like, come on, like, don't they sound kind of similar?
They do sound kind of similar. What? Hello?
And it happened actually twice when a friend thought I said tomorrow and not tomato. And then it was like another time, like, the miscommunication happened, but like the other way round, where the lady came up to me and she was like, "Oh, okay, would you like chips or fries with that?" And I was like, "Oh, well,
I had something recently happen like that with me too. Oh my god."
"Oh, really?"
Because like I was like talking to my cousin like more recently has been like FaceTiming like Zoom meeting with me, and she lives in She lives in America.
Ah.
But she grew up here in Australia with me. But she's obvious like they moved in like 2005, and she's like 6 years older than me. And we were talking, and I was explaining to her what a HSP was. And for our American listeners, HSP is a halal snack pack. Please look it up. And drool at how amazing it is. But so I was explaining to her what a halal snack pack was, because she was talking about how like, you know, the cultural food where she's living is like not as prominent, because I think she lives like sort of like mid America, where it's not as culturally diverse as like the coasts. And I was explaining to her what it was, and I was stumbling over my words so hard because I was saying chips, and I'm just like, French fries. And she's like, oh my god, thank you so much, because I totally forgot that French fries, and like I was trying to imagine like what we were talking about with chips, and I'm like, I know, I like forgot that French fries and chips are two different things. Whereas I mean, but Australia's kind of like fucked in that way, because we have chips for both like potato chips, like, and like fries as like chips as well, but we call them hot chips. But
sometimes, usually you just know, like, it's context, right?
Yeah.
And like and like I think it's also the same with like sweater, jumper, and hoodie. It's like all interchangeable, kind of.
Yeah. It's like if I say I'm wearing my jumper, I often am referring to my hoodie more often than not. But
yeah. And you're just like, yeah. And then for the States, it's kind of like, everything is its own thing. Like you can't interchange them.
Well, Australia's just like laid back like that. But yeah, yes. I imagine that it's confusing for some of our listeners who are in America, because we sound more American than we do Australian. But,
yeah. Which,
yeah. I mean, like, we have very mixed accents anyway. Like, I'm pretty sure like you'll pick up some words that don't sound the same. But I mean, in that same vein, I remember I was like watching, or like I saw this article come up on like my like Google suggested articles, and it was about how like because we obviously call like shopping like trolleys, yeah, like when you go to the supermarket. So this girl goes on TikTok and she's like posting about like shopping trolleys and whatnot, and then apparently people all up in her comments were like, that's not a trolley, it's a cart, like it's a shopping cart. And it's like, all right, America, calm down.
Let's just sit down, relax. Okay, there's no need for it.
I mean, it was like a nonsense article, like, you know, it's an article that didn't need to be made, but it's kind of just like, it's so funny just like realizing how different everything is. Like, just we call items different things, and like that gets lost in translation sometimes. And now in like the world of the internet, it's like, especially us, because we have a platform in which like we talk about things, like I'm pretty sure we've said things that our American listeners are just like, what are they talking about? Because like I'll listen to it and like totally understand it. I'm sure our friends who listen to our podcast are like 100% like, oh yeah, like they said this abbreviation, they said this thing, they called thing this thing. But I'm sure our American listeners are like, what is that? What is that?
What is that?
But yeah, it was just something that I thought about, because of the fact that I had been like consuming so much more like American content. I mean, on a regular basis, like I assume I consume more American content than I do like Australian content. But when it dawns on you that like you're in Australia and things aren't the same, because I think like culturally, like it's less of a spectacle, at least to me anyway, because we're so used to seeing American media in Australia. Yeah. So it's like it's less weird to us. Like it's less of a culture shock to us when we hear it, or like I guess when we see it. But for them, obviously, because they just consume like American media with minus Home and Away. No, Home and Away was popular in the UK. Never mind. Yeah. But yeah, like the people only know like Steve Irwin, Crocodile Hunter, and
the most Australian man
coming from Queensland, from the top of Australia, where basically almost everyone sounds like him. You'd be surprised, especially when you work in a national call center. It's like you pick up on like, for our Americans listening, like how in America they have different accents depending on where you are in America. It is the exact same here in Australia. Like
even within Sydney regions, it's amazing.
But actually, that's true. Oh my god! But like, if you like Melbourne and like Sydney people, they kind of like sound the same, and then you get up to like kind of. There are like some nuances that are like slightly different, but for the most part, they're quite similar. I feel like Melbourne and like even South Australia sound slightly more similar. For anyone who's listening from those states, let us know where it's like wrong. But like I had a friend who was from South Australia, and he would often talk to me about how like he had to change how he spoke sometimes, because where we would say dance, he would say like dance, or like just like the really like the, or like where we say like branch, or like, you know, a store's branch, they'd say branch.
Wow, so fancy.
But like when I get calls from South Australia, like that's where, and I don't even notice where they're from, I all of a sudden will pick up on that nuance of like, oh, you said that quite differently, and then you start to pick up on like, okay, Western Australians say it this way, people from South Australia say it this way, and then what people associate the Australian accent to be is like the Queenslanders.
Yeah, for sure.
They are what you imagine a true Aussie to be, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. You also do get some very Aussie accents towards the center the closer you move. The more desert you are.
Did you hear a snake come out with like a very Aussie accent?
His is an Australian.
Even our animals have accents. I mean,
oh
when
my
they're
god,
not trying to kill us.
Have you seen kangaroos when they like stand up? They're so like buff.
The
I
red
hate
kangaroos,
it.
yeah.
Oh, it stresses me out. I can't.
I've been like pretty close to some, but they're only like the small ones that we have in like in New South Wales.
Yeah,
like the cute eastern grey kangaroos, but it's
we've got
like
the little baby ones.
Every time I see like photos of like a big red kangaroo, where I'm just like, oh god, can we not?
So buff. They're so built.
The videos of them like propped up on their tails, like boxing each other, like. They legitimately box each other. For anyone who doesn't believe that kangaroos box each other, you should look it up, because it's insane.
Oh my god, kangaroos are wild.
In every sense of the word.
Yeah, facts. Like, oh my god, those ones are so big too, like tall. They're just terrifying. Absolutely fucking terrifying.
And so we're on the topic of like differences of like countries. I don't know, this is fun. I can't believe that this is what this episode turned into, but it's fun.
I'm enjoying
it. So how do I put this? Sizing, like clothing sizing. I know that's like really random to think about, but clothing sizing is completely different here in
versus
Australia.
Asia?
Versus Asia, yes.
Oh, but the States, right.
Versus
Asia is just like
one
ego
size
crushing, confidence crushing.
One size fits all, as long as you're as almost as skinny as a chopstick. But
oh my god, facts. So sad ordering clothes from like Yes Style, and you're like, oh, guess I'll get the large.
That's why I can never buy clothes when I'm in the Philippines, because everything is just like for smaller builds, and I'm just like, well,
it sucks.
Problem, I'm a plus size girl. I am like a size 20 at this point because of like lockdown and eating a lot of food. So
Honestly, let's love our lockdown bodies, please.
But I was watching like a YouTube video, and they were like reacting to a news article about a girl. It was either in the UK or here in Australia, and how she was a model, but she was shamed for being a size 8. Size 8 for us is like obviously very small, but
Yeah.
but that's not the point of the story.
What
One
do
of
you
the
mean
girls,
that's not the point?
one of the girls. Okay, that is an issue, but like
Yeah.
one of the girls, like they looked at the photo. She's a model too, and she's like, she looks skinnier than me, and I'm a size 2, and it's like, fuck, man. Like if I feel bad about like what clothes I wear in Australia, I would hate to see what size I am in America, because I think it's either you're bigger. I don't know. It's like I think you're like one size bigger in America, kind of.
I mean,
Like
I
smaller.
haven't noticed it with clothing in America, but I only noticed it in shoes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like when I was working in a call center and I like was processing clothing orders, it'd always be like I'd constantly get phone calls of people just asking, "Oh, so is that like US sizing or like EU sizing?" And it's like, it's EU sizing. Don't worry. Um, but I was gonna go on a rant about that job, but it was like, but that's a non-starter. But yeah, like I could go on and on about that rant, but anyway, yeah, no, like it's like weird to think like it makes you kind of think like clothing size or like body sizes. You can't really put a number on it because it's more based on your measurements versus what the number says on like a piece of clothing. And so
Yeah.
it's like it's weird because like, you know, when you're trying to mass produce clothing, you kind of have to make a system that kind of reaches everyone, and it like sucks because not everyone knows how to make clothes anymore, which
Yeah.
I wish that was a thing I knew how to do. God, I'd be making all my own clothes. But
I mean, I could do it, but it would be like falling apart.
if I could outsource that to someone else, I would. Thank you. But yeah, like that was just a food for thought thing as well. Just like yeah. Yeah. Anyway, it's that time. We got carried away, and also because like we have a lot of mad breaks in between. Cause
Yes.
we had some tech issues as always.
Because my camera is just. It's fine. I figured it out now.
It's okay.
Yeah.
In the edit, you're gonna see a couple of seconds of just cartoon Christine because when I came back from the bathroom, I forgot to re-record on photo booth, so there's gonna be a couple of seconds of just like nothing.
Finally, it's gonna be cartoon Christine time.
But it is that time of the podcast that everyone enjoys, I hope, and that is our song recommendations.
Y'all better.
And that is our song recommendations for the week. So if you want to go first, Tyler.
Yes, as I quickly pull up my song recommendation. My song recommendation is called Common Sense by DRWS. Very sad this artist, whoever they are, only has 3 songs out because they're all fucking bops. But this is the most boppy one. It's a funk song with a sick bass line, so
Hell yeah.
please enjoy.
I mean, I'm on the other end of that, and I'm on like the sort of like smooth R&B sound. My song for this week is called Fool Around by Yaz and Taylor from Earth. And I was like saying that if I lived that life, that would be my theme song. And y'all will know what I mean when you hear the song. But it's a really, really good song. Super smooth, super sexy. And I hope you guys enjoy it because it's very close to what I like to listen to and what I've been listening to more often. And yeah. Thank you guys again for coming by, and just a reminder that we do have we have a podcast we featured on another podcast. So again, all those links will be in the description if you're watching on YouTube, and on the description of our Spotify and Apple Podcast pages. We appreciate you guys as always for coming by and listening to us talk nonsense for God knows how long. And and we hope that for any of our new visual podcast viewers, we hope you've been enjoying the content, because we've been enjoying venturing into the side of podcasting as well. And we hope to ring in the new year like this too. So all that being said, bye.
Bye. Stay safe.